Oh my God. The parents of Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder speak out after their son, Deontay Wilder, was knocked out by Zelle. According to USA Today, they got some quotes allegedly from Wilder's parents after Wilder's been knocked out. And the dad is calling for someone other than Malik Scott to train his son. The mom is saying that Wilder should finish his career. He's had a great career, go on and enjoy your life type of thing. So we're going to get into that in this video. Let's jump in. I will put the link in the description. What the? Hey, yo, these pop-ups just got me. Deontay Wilder's dad wants trainer fired after loss to Zelle Zhang adds to the boxer's struggle. Now, this is from Josh Peter. Says Deontay Wilder's father said he has advice for the boxer following his devastating fifth-round knockout loss to Zelle Zhang, right? Fire your trainer, it says. Wow. Fire your trainer. You guys see that? Boom, you never know. Malik Scott was friends with Deontay Wilder before taking over as trainer in 2021. Since then, former WBC champion is 1-3, meaning he won one fight, lost 3 fights. The one fight he won was Robert Helenius. And it says, you need someone you're going to respect. Gary Wilder told USA Today Sports, you don't need a buddy to train you. So they're saying they talked to Wilder's pops, and Gary Wilder says you need someone that you're going to respect. You don't need a friend or a buddy to train you. Though Wilder is 38, indicated he would give retirement serious consideration if he lost to Zhang, Gary Wilder says, quote, it's not too late for Deontay. I believe he got several good years left. So his pops is saying the road might not be over, but changes must be made in terms of the trainer. Shelly Finkel, Wilder's co-manager, told USA Today Sports by text that, quote, we really have nothing to say. He later said Gary Wilder is not involved in Deontay Wilder's boxing career. Uh-oh. So this is my first time reading this. I was sent this information, came across the desk. We're making a video about it. So he's saying he's not involved in the decision-making process. Gary Wilder has seen his son less since Scott replaced Mark Breland, but he said he attended Deontay's third fight against Tyson Fury at his son's request. Deontay Wilder confirmed that, his mother confirmed that, and spent time in training camp before his son would fight Joseph Parker in December. Scott, when asked about Gary Wilder's comments, Malik Scott replied, who is Gary? He later added no comment. Okay, so there's some stuff behind the scenes. Malik Scott said, who is Gary? And he later said no comment. During the 4-fight stretch, working with Scott, Deontay Wilder has lost to Fury by knockout, to Joseph Parker by unanimous decision, and lost to Zelle Zhang by knockout. His lone win was a first-round knockout against Robert Helenius. Gary Wilder, so this is his father, said the biggest beef with Scott is his attempt to develop Deontay Wilder into more of a traditional boxer. Deontay has always been a slugger, Gary Wilder said. Now Malik's trying to train him to be a boxer, and if you look at it, you'll see that Deontay is not comfortable where he is at. At least he tries to be a boxer. As long as he tries to be a boxer, he is not going to win. That's the bottom line. Gary Wilder said he has not communicated with Deontay since the fight on Saturday with Saudi Arabia, but he plans to share his advice when they talk next. Wilder's record 43-4-1, 42 knockouts, one of which came against Scott, his trainer, Malik Scott. In 2014, Wilder knocked out Scott in the first round. Wow. So there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes going on with this, apparently. So that's one parent down. Now, according to USA Today, they talked to Wilder's mom, and she has stuff to say. Deontay Wilder's mom says it's time to celebrate the boxer's career as it's likely come to an end. So the same writer is saying he's talked to both of Wilder's parents. Deontay Wilder's mom says she sent a message Saturday after suffering a brutal fifth round knockout against Zelle. She says, this was being quoted. Quote, I text him and said, son, we're having a party for you. Deborah Wilder told USA Today Sports on Sunday, you gave us the best boxing in USA when boxing was dead. You've gotten older. You've ran your course in your journey. It's time to celebrate. Wilder, the former blah, blah, blah heavyweight champ, did not address the media in Saudi Arabia after his fourth defeat in his past 5 fights. And Wilder said he had not spoken, or Deborah Wilder said she had not spoken to him. So his mom has not spoken to him since the fight leading up to the heavyweight bout 38, blah, blah, blah. A right hand from Zhang, and that's kind of breaking down the fight. It says he brought back boxing in the U.S. and we enjoyed all those knockouts, Deborah Wilder said. I taped them and I'm going to look back at them. We're going to laugh, we're going to cry, but we're going to be happy. Enjoy your life now, Deborah Wilder says. Teach other young men how to become a champion. Wow. So, according to USA Today, they got both parents, and had a conversation with them. Listen, I mean, it's starting to get a little bit messy. You know, I don't like to be in that TMZ lane too much. However, this is interesting news and developments because you have, according to USA Today, you have the family members and, you know, the people who brought Wilder into this world, and they're kind of split. The father is saying he still can fight, but it's going to require a change in your corner. So he's saying you have to get rid of Malik Scott. The mom is saying, you know, you gave us boxing at a time where boxing was dry and you revived it. Now live this second chapter of your life like pretty much as a civilian. So that's very interesting. And that kind of makes sense because it's like yin yang, where you have masculine and feminine energy. Like I can picture a mom being more on the like leaning and erring to the side of the compassion and the just like kind of the emotional side of this is a brutal and grueling sport. I don't want to see my son get hurt anymore. And he lost, you know, he's lost 2 fights by knockout in the span of a couple of fights, right? And then he also has the Joseph Parker loss. So I can understand that energy. That sounds like kind of a motherly energy. You know, your mom's going to care about you. And then the dad is like, hey, I think he still got some years in him, but he just got to make some changes. So I do understand it. Now, I seen people talking about this on social media, and some people were saying this was cap and Wilder's parents didn't say this. I'm just going to say this. That's a big problem if Wilder's parents didn't say this, because you have a national publication like USA Today. The link is in the description, and they're quoting and saying, I talked to Gary and Deborah Wilder, Wilder's parents, and this is what they said. So if there's any type of misquoting, then that could be like a defamation lawsuit and stuff. So I would hope that a publication such as USA Today, if they got direct quotes, they actually talk to somebody. But I mean, we have to wait and confirm. Now, even if his parents really said this, that doesn't mean it changes anything, because Wilder's still in the driver's seat with his career and what he wants to do with it. And the article did say and suggest that Gary Wilder pretty much doesn't make, his dad don't run the show or make the decisions for Wilder. Interesting space, you know, we'll see what happens next. Now, Wilder did say he would highly consider retirement if he were to lose, and then he lost. in devastating fashion, almost like a rookie mistake. He got clipped with the check hook, and he was like disoriented, spun around, and then Zhang's going in for the kill. Wilder's talking, hands down, man down, protect yourself at all times. As Zhang just comes up kind of behind him and blindsides him, bow, and then Wilder went out. So I can understand both ways because how it played out, the stubbornness of a guy like Wilder or a fighter. They're not going to want to accept that. They're going to be like, oh, I made a mistake. That wasn't a true knockout, just because it was like on some Victor Ortiz, how it happened. But it's still, to me, it's still concerning because the mistake was still made. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't know if that makes sense, but the mistake was made. You got clipped in the middle of throwing. I already broke it down. Wilder, he didn't throw nothing before the right hand, loaded up and then when people are about to throw, there's generally like body language there that they're getting ready to throw. And that's what Wilder did. He dipped down, gets in his position. So you see a little dip. And meanwhile, Zhang anticipated because he had the high guard up. He had the high guard. And Zhang being slightly shorter, he check hooked him and met him with the shorter punch, while this loaded up telegraph shot, couldn't come on time. And it looked like it grazed the tip of his face and nose. But this is a 300-pound Chinese man, you know what I mean, who's an Olympian and could fight, and southpaw. So that spun Wilder around, and he looked like disoriented. And I don't know what happened there because he didn't do post-fight interviews or do a press conference. So we never got to hear Wilder's side of what took place, what you thought happened, what occurred, what you were saying to the ref. So I don't really know there. But for me, outside looking in, it appeared to me as if he thought a foul occurred or something, and he was trying to complain to the ref, like, oh, he headbutted me, or oh, he stepped on my toe or something like that. And while he was complaining, Zhang was throwing. So listen, I told you, me personally, I don't like to talk about when the fighter should hang him up and retire because I feel it's not really my place. However, what I've seen from this Wilder thing, I did say that it seems that Wilder has done and had his run in the sport of boxing. His dad is saying something else and saying, hey, you got to switch your trainer. And I told you the same thing that his dad said in terms of people can care about you, but certain styles are for certain people, right? And I do think that Malik Scott tries to make Wilder more of a cerebral thinker to keep him out of trouble. But I agree with the father in the sense that it's putting him in more of a predicament, because what made him the Bronze Bomber this is not the same attributes if he's more hesitant or he's keeping the right at home cocked and not firing it. So it's like, it's almost stripping a person. It's like, it don't matter how brilliant a warrior you are. Like, you could be Achilles, right? But Achilles without a sword, without a shield, is not the same person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if Achilles had to fight an army barehanded, that's a different fight. And I feel like Wilder, without a heavy influence with the right, because his timing looked off as well. And maybe because he's trying a new style or whatever, he hasn't got his timing. And I've said everything that I really needed to say, but just in case you missed those videos, the other issue is, if you are going to try to implement stylistic changes and kind of 180 a fighter and turn them like into a more refined version of them, Deontay is 38 years old, so it's late. You should have started it earlier, one. But two, if you are going to do that and you're hell-bent, you got to give some like gimme fights to the fighter, in my opinion. Like, you have to step down the competition drastically, because how many top level guys who are like top 10 rated guys, which Joseph Parker and Zhang are in the heavyweight division. Heavyweight's not too stacked where they wouldn't make the top 10. So you can't send your fighter with new information and be like, oh, practice this in a fight with a former champion or in a fight with the 300-pound Chinese Zhang. You dig? It just doesn't work like that. You would have to fight almost like kind of like a cupcake, a gimme fight, somebody with minimal power, things like that. So you don't have to run the risk of this guy is way bigger than Wilder. This guy is definitely gonna, because Wilder has heart and he's a warrior to the end. So certain guys, in my opinion, probably depend on their power, what their power setup is. They're not going to probably knock out Wilder. But then it's not abnormal for a 300-pound Olympian who fought Anthony Joshua in the amateurs like Zhang to be able to knock out Wilder. He's a southpaw. He's crafty. He limits his punches, but he makes his punches count, and he outweighs Wilder by 70 pounds. So that's just my take on it. We'll see what Wilder decides. He's the man in charge with his career, but like the article says, he's lost all but the Robert Helenius fight, and that was a 1-round fight. It's not like a fight where you got to learn about both fighters because it was a first-round knockout. At the elite level, with how Wilder hasn't been throwing the right, it hasn't been landing, guys are taking it a little bit better than prime Wilder. I don't know. I don't know if you could rejuvenate the magic, but that's just my opinion. We'll see.